Our country is in a mess. I have what I think is a viable solution, although I don't know that anything like this can ever be accomplished. But here it is. It is a trilogy of changes that, if made at the federal level, I believe would really affect a profound change, and would move us back toward the America that the founders envisioned. There are three things, as I said, and I'm just going to list them briefly. May go into them in more detail in a later video. But number one is, I believe that lobbying should be outlawed in Washington, D.C. Legislators go to Washington to represent the people according to the Constitution. They should not be influenced by anyone other than the people they represent. So lobbyists who are not elected, who do not speak for us, but who speak generally for big business or for special interest groups, and who push legislators to pass laws that benefit their employers, regardless of how lawmakers' constituents may feel. These lobbyists have no interest in you or I, other than getting our money. So I think a lobbyist should be a person whose activities are criminalized because they subvert the Constitution. Number two, I think that the president should be given the power of the line item veto. Our system was based on checks and balances, and that gets out of kilter when Congress has the ability to place earmarks in legislation that address special interests that they, as individual legislators, may have without regard to the primary bill, the underlying legislation. In order to maintain checks and balances as the founders meant, it is only reasonable, it is only fair that the executive branch would have the power to address these things on an individual basis. They're being added on an individual basis. They're being added to serve singular interests, and therefore they should be subject to veto on the same basis. We'll talk more about that later. Number three, I think, and this is the biggie, I don't know how to get this one done, but I think that every elected representative of the people should have a term limit. I'm not suggesting what that term limit should be. I'm just saying there should be a term limit. We should eliminate the position of a career politician. I would go a step further than that by saying that a person who has fulfilled their term limit as a representative would be disqualified from seeking office as a senator. The only exception to this rule would be, of course, that anyone would be able to run for office in another branch of government. For instance, the legislative branch, once you had fulfilled your term of office there, you could run for office in the executive branch as president, or you could be appointed in the judicial branch as a justice. But within each branch of government there should be term limits. And this ends many of the practices that have gotten us into the shape that we're in this country. The career politician has been nothing but a detriment to the people of the United States. When these men and women are allowed to stay in office long enough to amass great reserves of power, influence, and money, they become very self-serving. They become very protective of their own empires that they have built. And as they become increasingly self-protective, they necessarily become less concerned about you and I, the people who sent them there. So these are three things that I think need to take place in order to fix many of the problems that we're seeing now emanating from our federal government. You don't have to agree with me. Certainly there are many people who will not. You can agree with me. That's fine. These are just my opinions from years of observation and trying to get to the root cause of what the problems are. I appreciate you watching my video. You can like it or not, leave a comment or not. It really doesn't matter to me. I just wanted to get my message out. I hope you have a great day. Thanks.